Welcome back. Session 20, Gas Law. Session 20, Gas Law. In this session, we are going to learn about the concept of electric flux. We learn about the concept of electric flux. Then the law associated with the electric flux, that is Gas Law. We are going to make the statement of Gas Law, and also we are going to prove this Gas Law. And at the end of this session, we are going to derive Coulomb's law from Gauss law. These are the concepts which we learn in this session. The first concept, the concept of electric flux. We know that an electric field line is the imaginary line drawn in an electric field such that a unit positive test charge tends to move along that imaginary line. That is the concept of electric field lines. Now, in a region of electric field, if we consider a unit surface area, the number of lines of force passing through this area normally gives the measure of electric flux. So, we can define electric flux as the number of lines of electric force passing normally through a given surface in an electric field is called as electric flux. Now let us consider a surface. Now let us consider a small portion of this surface. The total surface area of this surface, take it as S. Let us consider a small portion having the surface area ds. Now the electric lines of force emerging from this surface, let us mark this. Now let us enlarge this. Draw the normal to this surface. Let us take this as the normal again. Let the electric field vector is E bar at this point. If this electric field vector makes an angle theta with the direction of normal, then we can write the flux emerging out of this small surface. Let us take this as d phi. The flux d phi is equal to E bar dot ds bar. This we can write, since it is a dot product, we can write it as E ds cos theta. So the mathematical definition of electric flux is, it is the dot product of, mathematically we can define the electric flux as the dot product of electric field vector and surface area vector. So this is the flux through this small surface. The flux through the small surface having surface area dx. Therefore, the flux, total flux emerging out of the surface phi e is equal to integral of d phi e. This we can write as integral of e bar dot ds bar over the closed surface. Call this as equation 1. This gives us the way of finding the electric flux. The electric flux due to a given system of charge is a scalar quantity. It is a scalar quantity since it is a dot product of two vectors E bar and ds bar, and its SI unit is voltmeter or Newton meter square per coulomb. With the concept of this electric flux, now let us state and prove the Gauss theorem or Gauss law. Gauss law in electrostatics. Statement. It states that the total normal electric flux, over a closed surface is equal to 1 over epsilon naught times total charge enclosed by that surface. The total normal electric flux over a closed surface is equal to 1 over epsilon naught times the total charge enclosed by that surface. Suppose if you consider a surface having the surface area ds, and if the total charge enclosed by that surface is equal to q, then mathematically we can write Coulomb's law as, Gauss law as, mathematically Gauss law can be expressed as the total flux phi of E is equal to integral of d phi E taken over the entire surface is equal to surface integral of E bar dot ds bar. This is equal to 1 over epsilon naught times the total charge enclosed by the surface. Here Q is the total charge enclosed by the surface. This is the mathematical form of Gauss theorem. Now let us prove this. Now to prove this, let us consider a surface. Before that, let us define one term, Gaussian surface. To apply the Gauss theorem to any system of charges, the procedure is we need to consider a closed surface. This imaginary or hypothetical closed surface over which the Gauss theorem is applied to evaluate the electric field is called as Gaussian surface. It is a hypothetical closed surface over which Gauss law is applied to evaluate the electric flux and hence electric field, and hence electric field is called as Gaussian surface. With this definition of Gaussian surface, now we shall move on to derive Gauss law or to prove the Gauss theorem. Now let us consider a coordinate system represented by xyz. Let q be the charge placed at the origin O. Now let S be the closed surface, that is we call it as the Gaussian surface. Now the method of applying Gauss theorem to any system is, we first consider a small portion of the Gaussian surface having the surface area ds. Let us consider a small or an elementary area of the Gaussian surface having the surface area ds. Now observe here, this portion, let us consider a small portion of the surface having the surface area ds. Let me draw this portion. This is the small portion over which we apply the Gauss theorem first. Let us take this as the surface area ds. Here the electric field vector, let us represent like this, and the normal check. Let me draw the diagram. This is a small portion of the surface. Now for this surface, mark the normal to this surface. This is the normal vector. Now let us say this is the electric field vector emerging out of the surface. Then if the angle between the normal and the electric field vector is theta, then let the surface area be, take it as ds. Then we can write the flux emerging out of the surface d phi is equal to E bar dot ds bar. Call this as equation 1. Now we can write, therefore, the total electric flux emerging out of the entire surface yes, that is total surface. We are considering the entire surface. The total flux emerging out of this entire surface is given by phi is equal to integral of d phi. Take the closed surface. Here the circle indicates it is the closed surface. This is equal to surface integral of E bar dot ds bar. Now we know that the electric intensity E bar at the point P. Here, go back to the figure. Let me shift this. Now, if you consider this as the point P, then the electric intensity at the point P having the position vector r bar, is given by E is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. Call this as equation 2 into unit vector r cap, which represents the direction of electric field. Also, the surface area vector ds bar is equal to ds into n cap, where n cap is the unit vector. N cap is the unit vector normal to the surface. Therefore, we can write, substituting all the values, flux, total flux phi of E is equal to surface integral of, substitute for E bar, 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square into r cap dot n cap into ds. Here r cap is the position vector, unit vector in the direction corresponding to the position vector r bar, and n cap is the unit vector corresponding to the normal drawn to the surface. This is n cap. If I consider the position vector r bar, the corresponding unit vector is represented by r dot, r cap. Now, the angle between the position vector and unit vector r cap dot n cap, we can take it as cos theta. So we can write this as, take the common terms, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square, take it outside, into surface integral of, 1 minute, q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into surface integral of ds cos theta divided by r square. Here we are taking q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught outside the integral because they are constant for a given system. So if we go on changing the surface, r changes. So surface integral of ds cos theta divided by r square. Call this as equation 3. Now we know that the term ds cos theta divided by r square is equal to d omega, and it is called as the solid angle. Now, if I take this point as the origin, then if we draw a cone with the surface ds, then this will subtend an angle. It will subtend an angle this will subtend an angle d omega. Observe the diagram. This angle is the solid angle subtended by the surface at the center or at the origin. So we can write the flux. We can write the flux phi of E as equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into surface integral of d omega, and this is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 4 pi. That is because the solid angle subtended by the entire surface is equal to 4 pi. The solid angle subtended by the surface integral of d omega is equal to omega. This is equal to 4 pi. So substituting this value here, we get the flux phi is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 4 pi. 4 pi cancels. Therefore, the total normal electric flux is equal to Q divided by epsilon naught. This is the proof of Gauss theorem. Now let us arrive at Coulomb's law starting from Gauss law. For that, let us consider a charge Q. Consider a charge Q placed at O, that is origin of this coordinate system. Let P be a point at a distance r from the given charge. So the position vector of this point is r bar. To apply Gauss theorem, we know that we have to imagine a Gaussian surface. Let the Gaussian surface be a sphere with radius r. Now let us consider a small portion of the sphere having the surface area ds. Surface area ds enclosing the point P. Therefore, we can write the flux emerging out of this point. The flux emerging out of this surface ds is given by E bar dot ds bar. Call this as equation 1. Now observe here, from symmetry, we have, that is the spherical symmetry, electric field vector E bar is normal to the surface, and hence E bar and the unit vector n cap representing the normal are parallel to each other. So we can conclude that the angle between E bar and n bar unit vector n cap are equal to 0. The angle theta is equal to 0. Therefore, we can write equation 1 as d phi is equal to E ds. Therefore, the total electric flux, emerging out of the entire surface S is given by phi of E is equal to integral of surface integral of d phi. This is equal to surface integral of E into ds. This we can write it as E into, we know that the surface area of the sphere is equal to 4 pi r square. Call this as equation 2. Now let us apply Gauss theorem. From Gauss law, we have the total normal electric flux through any surface is equal to 1 over epsilon naught times total charge enclosed by that surface. Now, in this case, the charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface is equal to charge Q placed at O. So, call this as equation 3. From 2 and 3, we have E into 4 pi r square is equal to Q divided by epsilon naught, or E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by r square. Call this as 4. Now, if we place another charge, say Q dash, at point P, then there exists an electrostatic force between the charge Q placed at origin O and the charge Q dash placed at P. This electrostatic force F is equal to magnitude of charge at P, that is equal to Q dash, into electric field due to the charge Q at the point P, that is Q dash into E. Therefore, we can write Q dash into the value of E. Use the equation for 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. Therefore, F is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught Q dash by r square. Removing the constant, we can write F is proportional to Q dash by r square. This is the statement of Coulomb's law. Hence, Coulomb's law